Hello, Dr. Susan. Welcome to the CEIS20 Podcast. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Dr. Susan Rottmann is Associate Professor of Anthropology at Özyeğin University in Istanbul, Turkey. She's a migration expert with more than 10 years of research experience. She has published in a wide variety of international peer-reviewed journals, including International Migration Review, the Journal of Refugee Studies, Space and Culture, Identities, Global Studies in Culture and Power, Migration Studies and Critical Sociology. She has received several major research grants from the European Union to study migration, gender, belonging, democracy, and citizenship. She's currently a primary investigator of the Horizon Europe project's GAPS, decentering the study of migrant returns and readmission policies in Europe and beyond, and OppAttune, countering oppositional political extremism through Attuned Dialogue, Track, Attune, Limit. Dr. Rottmann is also coordinating the Belmont Forum project, Phoenix, Human Mobilities, Global Challenges, and Resilience in an Age of Social Stress. We'd like to begin with our first question, which is, who are you? What do you do and where?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It has been my honor to get to know Portugal and Coimbra a little bit better through participating in this event. I'm an anthropologist. I'm originally from the United States, but I've been based and working on Turkey for 17 years. I'm based in Istanbul, and my main field of research is migration. So I study specifically, most recently, Syrian migration to Turkey and Europe, but in the past I've studied German-Turkish return migration, also migration from Afghanistan and Central Asia to Turkey. I'm interested very much in the topic of belonging and also, as Joana said, food, citizenship, gender, and related issues, and also more recently democracy and the future of living democracy in societies.
Okay, so talking about living democracy in societies and the way your research has developed and incorporated other aspects while you've been participating in this collective research project, can you tell us a little bit more about what is the focus of your research, what you're doing now, what is the prospect for the future in your research agenda?
Well, I'm really interested in the link between living democracy and food belonging. So living democracy is what we understand from democracy as a daily practice, a way that people interact with each other outside of electing political candidates, so voting or supporting particular parties, but sort of like being able to talk among citizens about issues that matter to people. And food belonging is the idea that food is something that is important for our identity, for our social relationships, for our sense of who we are and where we fit into society, into our, as well as our families, social, ethnic groups, that type of sort of way of being included. So how to bring these two together is kind of the question of how do democracies and how does the everyday of democracy create a space with which people can find food belonging or expand food belonging? How can we create a sense of belonging for migrants and locals through food sharing or through curiosity about food? So sort of just looking at these links between food belonging and democracy is what I'm really excited about now.
Well, this is clearly an interdisciplinary approach because it brings a lot of concepts, levels of analysis, and different topics together to understand our life and social interactions and democracy building. So can you develop a little bit more for us? How is your research interdisciplinary? What are you mobilizing in terms of disciplinary fields, concepts, ideas that makes your research interdisciplinary?
I am could not embrace interdisciplinary work more. I was trained as an anthropologist, and there's a lot that I really appreciate about anthropological approaches, especially in terms of the methodology of ethnography and sort of a focus on very in-depth, nuanced understanding in natural settings, a focus on everyday and on people's meanings that they give to their experience. I think this is a very anthropological approach to whatever topic I am studying. However, I'm very much inspired by work in other fields that is looking at, for example, trying to, from a psychological perspective, trying to explain why people feel insecure about their identity, or from an IR perspective, why people feel insecure about the condition of their nation or of their ethnic belonging. So I think it's important the more you can take a broad approach to different disciplines, the more you can incorporate interesting ways of analyzing your material. And even if my own research doesn't really draw on like survey work or different kinds of model building, I get a lot out of understanding what they have found and comparing it to what I have found and trying to find the intersecting points, which I think gives us a very nuanced, very good, solid understanding of whatever it is that we want to look at. So I'm fully convinced that interdisciplinary work is the best way to understand any topic, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Social phenomena is so multifaceted, right?
Yeah.
We need to look into different lenses, dynamics, to give us better, more complete answers. So, Susan, based on all of this that we heard, and your previous research, your new research focus, and how interdisciplinary your work is and has been in the past few years, do you have any perspectives on the present and the future that you would like to share with us in the context of your research? What are your future plans? What you're wanting to do? Is there any new research agendas you're trying to explore in the near future? Any ideas you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, well, what I came to Coimbra to talk about actually was some new research that I would like to explore in the future. So taking these topics that I've mentioned already, like living democracy and food belonging, I think we already know that food is important for belonging. We already know that we need to understand more about living democracy, but from a point of view of like empirical information about it, about the mechanisms of how these things happen, how does food democracy and belonging intersect? I think we need more research on this topic. So I'm really excited to develop a larger project that would be looking at different cases where food has been helpful in creating belonging, or also food can be a source of exclusion, of separating people. So sort of kind of having a kind of complex point of view of how food and belonging are operating in different democratic contexts is what I hope to look at in the future.
Very interesting and exciting research ahead. Thank you very much, Dr. Susan Rottmann, for coming here, visiting us at CEIS20, and please come back whenever you want.
Thank you.